Hello again, everybody. This is Comic Book Hangover with my weekly haul, short little sort of bullet reviews that I like to do every week. First of all, before I get started, thank you everybody for your continued support. Thank you to all the subscribers, the people who've been watching my videos. The comments down below that I've been getting, especially for last week's video, were great. It's nice to have some interaction, and nice to start to get to know more people within the YouTube comics community. So I appreciate that. And before I go any further, if there's anything, again, anything about my collection that you'd like to know about, or you want me to just show certain parts of my collection, just let me know. I'll be happy to do what I can. I know I'm going to be having a lot of free time for a little while. As I did mention last week, my place of employment, Family Video, they did go out of business. The brick and mortars did. Their website, familyvideo.com, is still going, but the brick and mortar stores are gone. Yesterday, which was Wednesday, I I was down at my store for the last time. We had to basically gut the whole place. So all the remaining racks, the shelves, even our stages, our counters, everything had to go. So I do have some videos. I know I was going to post something last week, but it's I don't know, it's kind of a it's hard to share. It is. It's hard to share. I mean, this place has been, I've been there for 12 years, and it's hard to acknowledge that it's over. I mean, it's just a really weird thing. So I do have some videos. I will be posting those. Just bear with me on those. So that said, and yeah. So anyway, let's get on to other things. I do want to share this with you guys, because I didn't get a chance to do this. I got these a couple of weeks ago. This is from Coffin Comics. This is a Lady Death Little Naughty #1 Premium Edition. I ordered 2 of these, and these are some of the smallest comic books I have ever. This is a regular current size board. Here's comparison to a standard comic book. So that's a very small, very small comic. Very. I haven't had a chance to open them up yet. So I don't know exactly what they're probably pinups. Usually these sort of books are pinups, but it's kind of cool. They weren't that expensive, so I figured, what the hell, I'll get 2 of them. Why not? So before I get into the books that I picked up this week, which were very few, by the way, let's talk about some of the books that I got last week. Starting off with, well, let's just talk about Stillwater. Now, this is going to be the last issue for this series for a couple of months. I guess they're taking a few months off, a little bit of a hiatus. So this will be, I guess you could say, it kind of wraps up the first storyline. So in here we're learning more about the guy who's he's kind of like the sheriff. He's not the sheriff, but he's the person that the sheriff sends to do some of the dirty work, and he's the guy who does a lot of the judge's dirty work. So you find out more about him and the stuff that he has had to do over the years to sort of protect the safety and sanctity of Stillwater. So it does kind of shine light and shed light, rather, on why he is the way he is with other characters in this book. So again, this is an amazing series. We're only 6 issues into it. Now is a good time to get caught up on it. If you haven't been reading it, I do highly recommend it. But we're rounding off some of these other peripheral characters and getting to know them a little bit more, and it's great. It's an amazing series. I'm really enjoying it, and I look forward to its inevitable return. The next one I want to talk about is going to be Thor #12. I grabbed the variant cover because I didn't. The regular cover just didn't grab me, but this variant cover did. Now, as I said when I was talked about issue 11, issue 11 was a horrible issue, and honestly, the series has kind of been suffering, I guess you could say. It hasn't been, to me, it hasn't been that exciting. It hasn't been that good of a series, even from the beginning. I think I was just buying it because I do like Thor. I do like the character. and the first story arc had Galactus, and that always draws my attention. But this Donny Cates, just to me personally, Donny Cates is just not that good of a writer. I don't understand all the hoopla and hubbub about him, but this issue here did give me what I wanted. It was enough. It had enough excitement. It had a great ending to it. Just overall, without giving anything away, because we're kind of getting to the end of the storyline here, this issue did save this series. So that it's still close to the chopping block, but it's not on the chopping block. So hopefully from here on in, Thor picks up and it gets to be the amazing, awesome series that it should be. But that was a good series, good issue. I really liked it. Power Rangers number 4, still a really good series. I mean, I don't know what more I can say about this series. We got the Omega Rangers with Lord Draken, and they're trying to hunt down the Empiricals. It's just a huge scale for a story arc with the Power Rangers, the sort of thing that we haven't really had before. So if you're sort of over the, I guess you could say small scale, the small picture stories that the Power Rangers have had forever, and you want something that's on a wider scale, than on a clean slate, and just more room to move, this is the series that you want to check out, because this one doesn't take place on Earth. It takes place out in space. They're dealing with huge, powerful characters who have the ability to destroy entire planets, and they're trying to stop it. So, great stuff. Amazing stuff. I'm really, absolutely enjoying it. And last up, and this one I know surprised some people, because I am not a fan of the X-Men. I've never really been a fan of the X-Men. Specifically, I mean, through the 90s when I started collecting books, I mean, I did enjoy the X-Men animated series that was on Fox Kids. I did like that show. And I do have quite a few X-Men books in my collection. The older stuff, I like the covers of the older stuff more than the more recent stuff. And I've dabbled with the characters here and there, but they've never been, you know, even in my top 10 favorite Marvel characters or groups or anything like that. But I also have an appreciation. I do miss what I like to say is the good old days of comic books. That's the stuff back in the 90s, the way comic books were done, the way they were written, where, you know, it didn't really have to be about realism. It just had to be about fun and escapism and just getting away from the real world. And when I heard about this series, X-Men Legends, which these stories take place in the 90s, and looking into it a little bit more, I guess what this series is going to be, it's an ongoing series with a rotating characters, rotating creators, and what it is the stories that are going to take place in this book are going to be ones that will be within continuity of the 90s X-Men family books. We've got X-Men, we're probably going to have X-Factor, X-Force, Excalibur, XXXXX. We're going to have all these characters in there. But they're also going to be doing stories that they had intended to do back in the 90s, but for whatever reason, you know, major events or, you know, people coming and going or whatever, they didn't get to do the stories back then. Now they're going to get a chance to do it. So these are all in continuity. They're not modern. They do take place in the 90s, within the 90s continuity X-Men family of books. The art style and the writing style is done in the 90s, which those of us who grew up and we were, you know, into the comic books and the Marvel comic books back in those days are going to really enjoy this. Again, not an X-Men fan, but I really enjoyed this book, even though with me not reading X-Men back in those days, I thought I'd probably be lost and not really understand what was going on. But, you know, just like they used to do, they give you what you need to understand what's going on and who these characters are and where you are in the timeline so you can have fun. And that's what this series is all about. It's about fun. So I have to say, you know, with the books that I picked up this week, this one surprised me. This has got to be like my favorite book of the week. So great stuff. If you're looking for some good old school, fun, bare bones action and adventure and just good, again, old school X-Men fun, this is the series that you want to check out. I will be picking up the second issue, possibly the third issue, and at that point in time, I'll make the decision whether or not I want to add it to my pull list. Based on that issue right there, though, I think it's going to be put on my pull list because I really honestly did enjoy it, which surprises me because, again, I'm not an X-Men fan. So, but that's what I always try to say is you know, always be willing to try something new. this is a great example of that because, you know, not being a fan of the franchise, not being a fan of the characters, I still gave it a shot because it was something different and I happened to enjoy it. So always be willing to try something new. That's what we need to be doing as comic book fans and collectors, is doing, you know, trying new books. That way you never know. I mean, hell, I Stillwater. I'm never really followed Chip Zdarsky. I know he wrote Daredevil. But I picked up that book and I really liked it. Something is Killing the Children. Really enjoyed it. Mercy, Merc Andolfo's Mercy. I really enjoyed it. I'm trying different things, trying new things, and really coming across and getting into some really great stories. Some discovering, new writers, new artists, and just having a great time with it. This is what I want from comic books. Just having a good time, just having fun, especially now. I mean, I got so much, gloom and doom in my life right now that I need something fun, and this is it. So, moving on, that's what I got last week. So let's talk about the few books that I picked up this week, which I think is only 3. Yes, I only got 3. This one here is not one of my regular books. Not going to be adding into my pull list, but I like the cover, and the character's pretty cool. This is the regular cover, Spawn 315. The only real complaint I have about this cover, though, is this shot here. I don't understand the whole point of that shot. It makes no sense to me. But that aside, this is a great cover. And I'm going to flip through this book because I'm curious about this character. Now, I know Todd McFarlane made the announcement, about a week ago, that he was going to be doing a Spawn universe of books. And she's going to be part of that. So, I don't know. Maybe I will get into Spawn. I'm going to flip through the book and check it out and see what's going on with it. And hopefully, find another series. I mean, I haven't read Spawn since like issue 14, and we're on issue 315. So yeah. The other one I picked up. Let's do this one first. This is one of my favorite books. It's always top of the stack book for me. Something is Killing the Children, number 15. This ends this story arc, so we're going to be taking a few months off. And I know there was some worries and there were some rumors that the series was actually coming to an end. That is not true. It is not coming to an end. It's going to be going on hiatus, and then in a couple of months, we're going to pick up with issue 16, and we're going to learn about the origin of Erica Slaughter, the lovely young lady that's on the cover here. So I'm very much looking forward to that, and I'm very much looking forward to reading and finding out how this first story arc ends, because, man, that's such a great series. I absolutely love that series. And this other one here, the last book I picked up this week, it's a first issue. It is from Image. It's Stray Dogs, number 1. I got the regular cover. Lady and the Tramp meets Silence of the Lambs was part of the description of the book. Figured, wow, those two franchises or those two movies or whatever you want to call them are very different. I'm going to check this out. I don't know if it's an ongoing or mini series. I don't know anything about it other than that. And there's a dog. I don't know, but I'm going to check this out. Very excited to check it out. And hopefully next week I'll have something nice to say about that. And hopefully next week I'll have some more books to talk about, because that's it. That's what I picked up this week. So I got one regular book, one Try It book, Stray Dogs, and one book because I like the cover. So hopefully next week I can get some stuff around, because I'm going to have a very short video next week looking at what I have here to talk about. So that's it. As I always like to say, that's it. That's what I got. Thanks for watching. Again, and as always, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, share the video. It's been a blast. Actually, I realized the other day that I'm actually coming up on my 100th video doing these things. So, I guess I should be looking into and coming up with ideas for my 100th video. So, any suggestions, whatever, I'm willing to take suggestions. I'm willing to take recommendations on what I can do, what I should do, what I could try, anything really. I mean, I don't, everything I do, everything I talk about, I do it on the fly anyway. So, why not have a little bit of structure, plan ahead a little bit. I mean, these reviews that I do every week, I don't really have anything scripted out. Actually, I don't have anything scripted out. Sometimes I'll jot a little note here and there, but by and large, I don't plan ahead on these things. I just turn on the camera, boom, let's talk about comic books. But, yeah, I guess that's it. We're going to wrap this up for another week. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. I just greatly appreciate the continued support from my subscribers, my fans, and people who are actually starting to become friends of mine. I'm talking to some of you guys out there. You know who you are. Talk to you here. Talk to you on Instagram, a little bit on Facebook. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to expanding and seeing what I can do now that I got some time on my hands. I mean, before I get another job, and see what I can do about this channel, and maybe expand a little bit more. So we're gonna wrap this up. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. And we will see you next week with another batch of new comic books. Have a good weekend.